Before I start today's review, I want to make this quick announcement. For my DC Multiverse reviews, we are drawing closer to the 100th review. And for review number 100, I have something special planned. We will be taking a look at a certain DC Multiverse 2-pack that features Superman and a Superman villain. Who that Superman villain is, well, you're going to have to stay tuned for review number 100 when it goes live on July 11th. Why that day in particular? Well, something else comes out on the same day, and you could probably guess what that is. As for every other DC Multiverse review leading up to review number 100, I already have all that mapped out, and review number 90 won't go live on the channel until June 18th. So this week and next week, we're going to take a little detour and talk about some Spinmaster DC figures. And I've made a post about these figures back then, like a couple weeks or a month ago by now. I don't remember when I made this post, but I felt like it's time that I do some proper reviews talking about these figures and giving them a spotlight, because honestly, I think these are really cool figures. And to start it off, let's kick things off by taking a look at the Spinmaster basic figure Nightwing. Now, this is not the regular kind of basic figure like the ones they put out in the, the smaller boxes, and they don't come with accessories. These ones are quite interesting, and this is why I want to make a review on these. As you can see, my table and everything, the setup is very different because, unfortunately, I do not have the setup for figures in this scale. So, I'm surprised that I can even get this to work, but bear with me. I hope that in the future, I'll have a better setup for all my reviews, but for now, let's just work through with what I got right now as a setup. Okay. Let's start with the accessories that this figure comes with. And majority of the accessories are pretty much just armor pieces. And he only has like a few accessories that are meant for him to hold, and one of them to wear on his face. So let's start with the ones that he can hold. And of course, Nightwing isn't Nightwing without his charisma sticks. And as you can see, these are pretty well sculpted. I like how they came out. And he can hold these really easily in his hands. So, pretty cool that he has these. I wish they had a little bit more color to them, but, this is usually how they look like anyways, right? So, pretty cool. He comes with that. And he also comes with a Batarang, which is interesting. I don't ever remember him ever using Batarangs. Maybe he does. Maybe I'm just forgetting, but he comes with that, so that's pretty cool. And one thing that I did not expect him to come with, because this is like the weapon that I don't think he would ever use, but maybe he does. He comes with a freaking sword. Yeah, Nightwing with a sword? I think Damian Wayne with a sword makes more sense than Nightwing, right? I mean, I don't know why they gave him a sword, but that is pretty cool, though. It looks like a really cool looking sword, too. So, interesting. He has a sword as one of his weapons. And as for his other accessory that I said he can wear on his face, it is this mask of some kind, like a gas mask. There's that, and I'll show what that looks like on the figure later. And these are two of the armor pieces that I don't have on the figure right now, but you can swap these. These are for his arms. So there are those. And now let's take a look at this figure, and I have to pretty much zoom out for this because this freaking figure is massive, but it's really freaking cool. So basically, a lot of the pieces on here are separated. Like, they're not on the figure when it's in the package, but there are a lot of these little slots where they go into. So as you can see right here with his like upper thighs, they're supposed to be armor pieces that can fit right here if you have something compatible. But because this figure doesn't have anything for his upper thighs, this is why you have these little what do you call them, like sockets right here that are exposed. But for a lot of the other places, so like down here, I'm going to take this off, for example. You can see how this is like for a certain piece of armor, right? And underneath the armor pieces, they have these little plugs that are sculpted to go into certain slots on this figure. So, for example, the one I just took off, if you line it up properly and you just press this in, it stays on pretty tightly and it doesn't fall off. Now, the downside is on the back side, there is nothing for them to align properly. Like, you can't, like, peg them into something to hold it so it looks like it's still. Because the whole point is that these are removable, so they want to make it removable easily, since these are technically figures that are not meant for us adult collectors. This is actually a really good looking figure for a basic figure, and it's kind of scary how good these look. Like, from a distance, you can't even tell if this is a basic figure. You might assume that this is like some, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a higher premium action figure that's in a bigger scale, but then when you look closer at it, you realize, oh, it is a basic figure. It's not anything crazy. So that's an example right there. And then for his chest area right here, you can pop this off and it reveals another like emblem. But as you can see, what I don't like about this is that because there are these ports right here, they are exposed. So I usually just keep this on him anyways, because, you know, it just looks better having that on, so you don't see the gap right there with the little slot area for where this piece goes onto. And the same thing with his shoulders. And of course, he does have these gauntlets here, same way that they're plugged into his arms. Now, as for storage options for his Batarang here, this could be stored pretty much anywhere that has these sort of sockets on the armor pieces. So, you know, if you wanted to go on the shoulders, you can technically do that. When he's wearing these gauntlets, he's supposed to wear his face mask, and then he has his sword in his hand. And then for his Batarangs, they're meant for when he's just using his sticks. So I'm going to kind of show what this looks like first before I dive into everything else. So let me just do some swappage here, because this is the fun thing about this figure that I really want to just talk about, is that these armor pieces, like, they're just so fun. And actually, let me see if they're aligned correctly. Oh, here we go. They have letters inside telling you which arm it's supposed to go for. So this one goes on the right arm, right? And what you do is you just make sure to align this into the port right there, as I'm trying to do this on camera. Okay, there we go. That's one side completed. Here we go with the other side. Do the same thing, and it's in. So pretty freaking simple, right? Like, as you can see, very easy to do. And then after you do that, then you can decide where you want to put this Batarang. So if you want it to go on the left arm, you can do exactly that. So now he has his Batarang right there as a storage option. And this looks more like his costume, right? He has more blue on him now. And this is supposed to be the form where he basically holds his sticks. So I'm going to get these into his hands, which this is a struggle, because sometimes getting these into his hands can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, which, yeah, there we go. So there's one stick in his hand. Here is the other one. I'm going to pop this off because that's going to get in the way. So here we go. Okay, this side is a little bit tricky. Yeah, the hands are kind of stiff on this. Like, it's really hard to put these into his hand sometimes, but there you go. So here is Nightwing with the blue armor parts for his arms, and he's holding his Charisma sticks. And I think that's pretty cool. I actually like the fact there's like two modes here for this figure. So you want him to rock this look, you can do that, right? If you want him to rock the other look, you can also change things around, which I will show. And let me talk about something else now really quickly. So as you can see on the back of this figure, he is wearing some sort of jetpack thing, right? Yeah, the whole thing with this form is that he can fly or something. I don't know what's going on with this like suit, but he's able to fly. And the cool part about this is, do you see that little arrow thing right there? That's a button. So if you press that button, the wings! There's a little action gimmick to them. So that is something that you can do with the little jetpack thing. Now, the jetpack accessory, though, it's pretty much on the figure now. I can't take that off, and I do not want to, because I feel like I might break it. And also, there is like a large port on his back that's exposed if you don't have that on his back. So it just looks really freaking bad. So the downside with these figures is that if you don't have certain parts covered up, it just doesn't look good. But that's the whole play gimmick with these figures is that you're supposed to put these armor pieces on or swap them around, whatever you choose to do. So, and there is the little jetpack thing, which is pretty cool. So there's that. And then let's show what he looks like with the other accessories. So I'm going to do this again. This is for his left arm. Okay. So I'll make sure to get these on correctly. This is for his right arm. Let's put that on. There we go. Now for his mask here, as you can see, there's like a little peg on the back. What you do is you pop that off, and then you put this on his face, and then you pretty much have to align that little port there, and there you go. There's his mask, and then you just move this up on his face, and now he has his gas mask on. And the last thing that you need now is to give him his sword. And there you freaking go. Look at this thing. This is like a cool ass basic figure, man. Like, he got his weapon and everything. He's like ready for combat. And he's also like gonna fly in the air or something. Whatever you imagine this figure is gonna do. Like, it's so cool. Oh, I dropped some stuff. There you go. Like, these are the two forms that you can have him in. You can have him wearing these black color gauntlets with the katana and, of course, his gas mask. Or you can make him look more like his traditional look, just with the jetpack on his back. So, I think this is really awesome. I like this. I like this figure for what it can do. So there's that. And now, let's talk about aesthetics, because, you know, usually I talk about aesthetics first, but for this review, I have no clue what the pattern is here, so I'm just going as I feel like going. So let's take a quick look at this figure with the mask on here. And as you can see, the details on this mask, as I zoom in, is not too bad. Like, a lot of the areas could be painted better, but of course this is a basic figure, so, you know, don't expect too much paint quality on here. But still, that is a very nice looking gas mask of some kind for him to wear if he is using it for some purpose. There's a better look at his face. I think that's a really good face sculpt for Nightwing. I like how that came out, so there's that. And for the rest of the body, it's pretty much really basic and simplistic, but there is a lot of details on here, like his ab muscles that are part of his costume. You have some straps that are visible, some texturing that is visible on the costume. That's really cool that they did that for a basic figure like this. His emblem here also has details, right? And there are some battle damage marks on some parts of the armor. Even this armor gauntlet has straps on it. His boots down here, or his shoes, whatever you want to call them, they also have some details. And of course, on the back here with his jetpack, you do have more details as well, and the Nightwing emblem on the back. So yeah, pretty cool. But again, a lot of it is painted in a very simplistic way, but you know, for a basic figure like this, it gets the job done, and it looks really freaking good. So, all right, now let's talk about the articulation, because this is what surprises me about this figure, is that it has articulation that I did not ever expect to see on a basic figure. So usually with most basic figures, they just move their arms up and down. They don't have articulation points in their elbows or their, you know, their legs. Like, it's really simple. But this one has articulation in a lot of places that I didn't think I would ever see. So his head sculpt is pretty simplistic, right? He can turn his head like this, all that. He cannot look up or down. That is the downside to the head sculpt. He does not have that awesome neck articulation that I'm very used to with a lot of action figures. As for his arms, if you take off this armor piece, I think it can lift out a good amount. But still, that's pretty good that it can lift out like that. And, of course, it can go up. It can go all the way up. And then it can also go down. Now, he cannot swing back and forth because of the jetpack part right there. And also, here's another thing. If you want these wings to reset, you just pull them down. So, there's that. And for his bicep here, there is a bicep cut. Look at that. There's a swivel. Usually, these figures don't have swivels there. Or down here, they won't have this articulation. And you have a swivel as well. That's so cool. And then his hands down here has a swivel as well. Like, there's no, like, articulation for the wrist where it can move, but it's just swiveling, which is already, like, good enough for a basic figure. And that's kind of surprising, right? As for his torso, it is a little bit tight, but it does move from what I can tell. So there is movement there. There is no waist rotation. As you can see, that doesn't exist. As for his legs, the legs also surprised me too. Look at this. He can do a full-on split. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And he can also kick out. Like, it's not like a great kick, but that's still a kick. He can also articulate his legs, single jointed, right? Like, that is so cool. I love that. So there is that whole thing. Is there swivel? No, there's no swivel. As for his feet, there's articulation and swivel. So everything on this figure for a basic figure is pretty well thought out when it comes to the articulation and all of that. Like, they really made this thing more playable, and with all the accessories that you get with this figure, right? Like these sticks, the sword, all the things that we just looked at. It is such a cool figure to have in the collection. And even as an adult collector, I am blown away by this thing. I'm going to be honest. I am blown away by this figure. Like, if you want a 12-inch scale Nightwing figure for your shelf because you want something to look cool, this is a really cool figure to pick up. Well, if you found today's review of this Spinmaster Nightwing figure enjoyable, do give this video a like. If you want to subscribe to the channel for more action figure content and whatever else I do on here, you can. You don't have to. In the end of the day, I make these videos for fun. And with that said, take care and I will see you in the next video.